Hey guys, welcome back to my presentation. So starting from where we left off, applying the multi-systems lens to the psychosocial crisis resolution. Um, so I just basically, um, you know, took an account for his family, race, and the social factors that played a huge role in his life. So, Mr. Tony's upbringing was a difficult one. He was raised very poor with nothing but the essentials. His parents were very strict, and he wasn't allowed to do much as a child. And that played a huge role later on in his life, and especially in adulthood, because we discussed as he was or when he was a young kid, he worked as soon as he could, and that was pretty much the only money he was provided was to do anything such as prom, any school events. If he wanted to take a girl out, he had to earn all of his extra money. So I think that was really important that we discussed just because it really set the foundation for his work ethic from when he was a child to um, adulthood. Also, we discussed in this presentation so far as his race. He grew up in Georgia, and that was a time when segregation was prevalent, and he faced just a lot of obstacles along the way, not only with the schools integrating, but then he was, a black male football player playing on a predominantly white team with white coaches, and those are some of the obstacles he was saying he faced, not only on the field but in the classroom. But like I said previously, he wasn't going to allow his race to set him back in any sort of way, and that he was determined to do whatever it took to accomplish his goals. And then along with the race and family, his social factors, just the way he grew up in society, and then with his friends and his family members. And football became his way out, his source of entertainment for him when he was younger, growing up, and that was kind of his way of getting out of the house and kind of away from his home life and the problems he faced there. Um, those three things played a huge factor in his life, from when he was younger to the adult stage. The theory that I chose to kind of integrate with Erickson's developmental stage was a humanistic perspective. This perspective focuses on the way people view life. The perspective emphasizes people's role in shaping their own experiences. I chose this because I felt like it really um, just hit home for who Mr. Tony is and what he's about and what he went through in his life. And I chose this approach just because, um, like I said, it kind of defines who he is. He, growing up with the poor, being black and being racially profiled, and not having a lot of resources, he could have used all those things to basically as excuses not to be successful, or excuses or reasons why he couldn't do the things he wanted to do. But that's not who he is, and that's what the humanistic perspective really. I think that's what the core of the perspective is just, you have a life, and it's based off how you view in your life and your experiences. If you either are negative, and you're down, and you take those negative thoughts and or experiences, and you let them hold you back, or you view it as a challenge, and you turn those negative things into positive things. And that's why I chose the humanistic approach when discussing my interview with Mr. Tony. The limitations I chose in Erickson's theory. The generativity versus stagnation explains that the stage of adulthood should be having children and looking past your own generation, and you're talking about your grandkids and so forth. So really, when discussing my presentation and my interviews live, you could say that he was in the stage of stagnation due to his choice of not having kids. And you know, I think this is a huge limitation as far as Mr. Tony is concerned, because um, just because he didn't have kids doesn't mean that he was unable to look past his own life, doesn't mean he was self-absorbed. Therefore, I felt like this was a limitation in Erickson's theory and how it pertains to my interviewee's life, because he was able to essentially look past his own life because he didn't feel like he was ready to be a father, or he was clearly selfless and thinking about bringing another life into this world. And so, therefore, Erickson puts these people in boxes and in stages when that's necessarily not the case. Just because Erickson says that this is what you're supposed to do and these are the things you're supposed to experience, and if those things don't happen, then your life path might be different. And although I agree with that to some extent, this is a good example, I feel like, of the limitations that Erickson presents in his theory. And this is my reference. I use the Rogers textbook a lot, and then I just reference the my interview with my interviewee. So thanks for watching, and I hope you liked it and enjoyed it. And yeah, have a good night and a good rest of the semester.